Sri Guru Charitra, Chapter 37 Grihastha Dharma. This chapter describes the religious duties incumbent on the Grihastha. Namaskara Priyaha Suryaha, Alankara Priyaha Vishnuhu, Abhisheka Priyaha Shivaha. 1 meal a day makes a yogi, 2 meals a day makes a bhogi, and 3 meals a day makes a rogi. The purity of one's mind depends on the purity of food he takes, not only through the mouth but also through the 5 senses, namely eyes, nose, ears, limbs, and the tongue. Sri Narsimha Saraswati was lighting up the minds of people by giving instruction on the disciplines necessary for keeping up the spiritual flame. After soothing their body and mind, he used to start giving spiritual instruction to put them on the Godward path, to help them evolve spiritually, so that they would be relieved forever from the afflictions of birth and death. In the previous chapter, Gurunath narrated to the Brahmin couple the Achar Vidhis for the Brahmin. In this chapter, he described to them Dev Puja Vidhi about the daily worship and its Mahima. Siddhamuni continued his narrative to Namdharak. For Dev Puja, the shrine room should be kept clean. Rangoli should be done and the place should be decorated with flowers. The atmosphere should be filled with fragrance of incense sticks, sandalwood, or other perfume materials. The place should be specially congenial and soothing to the mind. It should make an instant appeal to the mind and bring it into devout and worshipful mood. The atmosphere should be such that the senses get sublimated, mind gets collected and calmed, and the spirit gets uplifted and elevated. Seated on a clean, comfortable seat, one should take to the puja. The worship has to be done 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. If full and elaborate worship is not possible for the want of time or for any other reasons, one should at least do the Shodasupchar Puja, worship constituting 16 types of services in the morning. Pancha Upchar Puja, worship constituting of 5 types of services in the forenoon, and offering of the camphor light Niranjan in the evening, and perform the worship this way. Having been born as a Brahmin, if he does not do the worship daily, he will be subject to the netherworld after death. There are 6 types of puja. 1. Udak Narayan Puja, that is worshipping God in water. 2. Agni Puja, that is worshipping God in fire. 3. Aditya Puja, that is worshipping God in the sun. 4. Manasika Puja, that is worshipping God mentally. 5. Pratima Puja, that is worshipping God in the icons. 6. Yagya Puja, that is worshipping God through performance of yagya. The Manasika Puja is the highest form of worship. Idol worship is a relatively lower type of form of worship compared to Manasika Puja, but it also has its place in the spiritual journey. Worship of the cow and a Brahmin, visualizing them as God, is also an accepted form of puja. The worship of Guru, however, pleases all the 3 Murtis. In the Kali Yuga, as men are not capable of cultivating and cherishing such exalted form of adoration towards the Guru and of identifying the Guru with God, God has assumed the forms of Shaligram stones and of Linga form stones which are found on the banks and the riverbeds of the Narmada and the Gandaki rivers. Worship of the Shaligram or the Linga absolves man from all his sins. With Guru's Upadesh and worshipping the idol as per his instructions, God will respond even through idols and will fulfill all the desires of the worshipper. Regarding the worship of the idol, first, one should seat himself before the shrine, should do sankalp, and then pranayam. Pranayam helps to quieten the mind and centralizes the consciousness for concentration. Water has to be sprinkled over the materials for worship. The idol has to then be installed in the Singhasan. On the left side of the idol should be placed the conch, and on the right side should be placed the bell. The flowers and other materials of worship of the previous day are to be removed. The lamp has to be lighted. Then worship has to be offered first to Lord Ganpati. Then the Guru has to be remembered. The worship to the shrine has to be done. The tutelary deity has to be visualized in the shrine of one's own heart, and the same visualized form has to then be invoked and enshrined in or to be identified with the idol placed for worship. This is Pran Pratishtha, imparting living reality to or instilling life into the idol. One should visualize that God Himself has come and is standing in front of him. Bhavna, with true faith, is the very essence of the idol worship. Then to the visualized form of God, identified with the idol, Padya, Arghya, Achaman, Madhuparka, Snan, all these upcharas are to be done. Then chanting the prescribed mantras, Abhishek has to be performed with milk, Panchagavya, etc. The idol has to be then dried with clean cloth and placed back on the shrine. Then Vastra, Gandha, Yagyopavita are to be offered, and thereafter puja has to be done with flowers, with materials and articles of fragrance, and with akshatas, etc. While white flowers are ideal for worship, colored flowers are not so sacred for worship. Lotus, jasmine, and some other such flowers are good. Ganpati is not to be worshipped with tulsi, and Devi is not to be worshipped with karika. Bilva is dear for Shiva and tulsi for Vishnu. After the offerings of the flowers, dhoop has to be offered. During the puja, appropriate mantras and prayers are to be recited with full devotion. After the puja, Nevedya will have to be offered to the Lord. Visualizing that God has accepted the food offered, the devotee's hands are to be cleaned with water. Then tambul, that is betel leaves, have to be offered. The puja will have to be conducted with arti, offering mantra pushpa at the idol's feet, followed by pradakshina and sashtang namaskar. The namaskar vidhi is also explained in detail, how to offer namaskars to the idol, to the guru, to the elders, to parents, etc. The puja tirtha has to be sprinkled on one's forehead, to be smeared on the eyes, and should be sipped by the mouth. The puja tirtha is most purifying. It purifies the body, mind, and the spirit. After the Dev Puja and before taking food, we have to offer oblations. The Pancha Yagyas, which is Dev Yagya, Rishi Yagya, Pitru Yagya, Bhut Yagya, and Atithi Yagya. These Yagyas absolve man of the Panchasuna sins which everyone invariably commits while doing the daily chores. The Pancha Yagyas are done through Vyasa Devatri. From the food cooked, a little portion will have to be first offered to gods, Pitrus, ancestors, Bhutas, Rishis, Atithi, and only then will one take his food, considering it as Yagya Shesha, that is remnant portions of Yagya. If a guest happens to arrive, he should be welcomed and fed. Atithi is to be deemed as God himself in human form. After the guest is fed, only then the Grihastha has to take his food. When an Atithi or Brahmachari comes for Bhiksha, he should be offered Bhiksha instantly, even if Vaishvadeva and Naivedya have not been performed yet. If the Atithi is pleased, all gods, all Pitra Devatas will be pleased. One morsel of food given to them brings mountain-sized merit, and one tumbler of water offered to them brings an ocean-sized merit. One who does not offer food to Atithi and eats by himself will be born as a dog or donkey in his next life. Strict silence is to be enjoined when taking food. Actually, before taking food, there are other oblations to be done and observed. A circle with 4 cones, mandala, should be drawn with flour, and the plate of food should be kept on that mandala. A little food has to be kept aside on the right side on the floor as bali in the name of Chitragupta, and thereafter only should one eat the food. One should visualize that God seated inside him is eating the food, and that the food is also the Brahma himself. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir, Brahmagnau Brahmanahutam, Brahmaiva tena gantavyam, Brahma karma samadhina. Prana Ahuti and Auposhan mantras are to be recited at the beginning and after the completion of taking the food. At night, when taking the food, a lamp should be lighted and one should not eat the food in the dark. Moderation in food is also enjoined. Moderation is very much necessary in food. How many mouthfuls should one take as per the day of the fortnight, that is Chandrayan Vrat, is described. The types of utensils and plates to be used for taking food, the metals out of which they are to be made, their shapes are also described in some detail. There are also rules prescribed about drinking water, washing hands, washing eyes, face, etc. The auspicious sounds which one should hear, the sounds which are inauspicious, whose faces are auspicious to see and whose faces are not, are also described. Sri Narasimha Saraswati teaches also about the types of food to be taken and those which are prohibited for a Brahmin. Food without a daily oblation, food made with too much salt, garlic, etc. are prohibited. On particular days, some types of food and certain types of vegetables and fruits are to be avoided, like Padwal on Padayami day, Belfal on Friday, Shanifal on Tuesday, etc. A Brahmin should never take Nishiddha food or food touched by a cat, rat, crow, dog, etc. He should not eat food that is stale, that is leftover food from the previous day. These impair the sattvic traits and promote rajasic and tamasic tendencies in him. A Brahmin should nurture and guard his sattvic gunas, which are necessary and essential for his functioning as the community and the society as a whole. In the evening, the Brahmin should perform Sayam Sadhya, that is, chanting Gayatri Mantra with 3 oblations of water and uttering Gotra, Pravara, and with Auposhan. Thereafter only should he take his night meals. Before retiring to bed, one should read some sacred books, and then after offering his whole day's work as worship done to the Lord, he should go to sleep. Shayan Vidhan, that is sleeping, is also described, that is regulations relating to the cot used for sleeping by the Brahmin, etc. The cot should be clean. It should not have been made of jambul wood or tusks of a dead elephant. Days of weaving cots are also specified. They are either Sunday, Tuesday or Thursday. When weaving, certain deities are to be remembered. One should sleep with the head towards east or south. The places prohibited for sleep for a Brahmin are old temples, cremation grounds, at the foot of a tree, near a ant hill, near tanks, on food grains, and in a dilapidated house. A Brahmin should not go to bed with wet clothes. He should not go to sleep without a garment. He is not to sleep under the bare sky. A Brahmin should not indulge with his wife when she is in her monthly period or when she is wearing a blue-colored sari. There are injunctions on the wife as to how to conduct herself during her monthly periods and the things and discipline she should observe. All these are necessary for bodily health as well as for moral and spiritual health, not only of the couple but also for the well-being and welfare of the progeny. All these have been codified by Parashar Rishi in Parashar Smriti. With this chapter ends the Karmakand section of Sri Guru Charitra. Thus ends the 37th chapter of Sri Guru Charitra describing the Varanashram Achar Vidhi. Glory to the All-Merciful, the Omnipresent and the Ever-Responsive Gurunath. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.